First round playoff review. So the first round is officially over. Yesterday, to to finish out the first round, the game seven between Cleveland and Orlando Magic. Cleveland ended up winning the game seven against Orlando Magic, allowing them to advance to the second round of the playoffs, um, winning 4-3. They are going to play the Celtics in the second round. Um, just starting with that series, that was a pretty good series, pretty evenly matched series in terms of like the talent level. I think, in my opinion, um, I'm very. Although Orlando Magic didn't win the series, I am uh, impressed with them and what they were able to accomplish this season. Uh, being a fifth seed, getting to the playoffs, you know, get into a game seven, having a guy like Paolo showing a lot of promise already in his second year, um, going to an All-Star game and then taking his team to a playoff. That's major for a young guy like him. So that's a lot of promise that they have in a guy like Paolo. Um, and so it's going to be pretty interesting to see what they do moving forward. I think they need they need to get another young star on that team in terms of, I don't know, because they're already, kind of in the playoff kind of hunt, so to speak. But I think they need another young star on that team. Um, Albeit, maybe a young star who's already in the league come to Orlando. Um, I don't know, maybe a LaMelo goes to Orlando or something like that, or something like that. I think that could really, you know, help them out with what they're trying to do. Um, they got a lot of good young talented players. More so feeling kind of like role players, but they're good players. They're going to be guys um, on this Orlando team that likely, if I had to, I guess, project into the future, are good pieces that you can have on your NBA roster and are going to be around for a long time. You know what I'm saying? A Markel Fultz, Cole Anthony, Jonathan Isaac, the Wagner guy brothers and stuff like that. Like, these are guys that necessarily, I'm not gonna just contract, probably not gonna be all stars. Maybe they will, I don't know, but you know, but they're gonna be formidable guys in the NBA for a long time. I could see them, being in the league for a while, being serviceable to NBA rosters. So I definitely could see them, being in the league for some time, and then Cleveland, um, more, a young team, but they got some experience. They got a couple guys who had some experience, who's been in this league for a while, for some time. Donovan Mitchell, still kind of on that young tier of, the next generation of stars. Like I said, like he's still in that, the Jason Tatums and the Devin Booker, kind of class and tier. So, but he's had some experience, even some playoff experience. Um, Garland, an All Star, and so this was expected for them to win. I had picked them to win this series, um, and you know, it's good for them. I think you know they they still need another kind of like an all-star kind of guy on that team to to really be a contender. But you know, good win for the Cleveland Cavaliers. You know, being able to advance to the next round. And so then next, you got Boston Celtics and Miami Heat. Jimmy Butler did not play the whole series, so that's the Heat's best player. So they ended up, it wasn't too competitive as would have been if Jimmy Butler was on the floor. Boston ends up winning 4-1. Um, the Celtics advancing as expected. Uh, you know, the Celtics, did what they had to do. They did exactly what they needed to do, take care of business. Disrespecting for them to win. Miami, like I said, without Jimmy Butler, didn't have their leader on the floor, so they ended up losing. Bam played well. Um, in the game that I've seen, he passed some pretty good games, but just wasn't enough. You needed Jimmy out there to really compete. So that's that on that. Then you had the Milwaukee Bucks and Indiana Pacers. Um, Indiana Pacers ended up winning that series. Um, again, it wasn't the expectation for Giannis to not be playing. Giannis did not play throughout the series. Dame didn't play some games. So Milwaukee Bucks were obviously undermanned, playing without their two best players. So they still managed to win 2 games. If those two guys were on the floor, I don't think that Indiana would have won. I think they probably would have won maybe like 1 game. I think the Bucks would have won 4. Pacers would have won 1. If they had their 2 best players on the floor. I think the Milwaukee Bucks had a lot going on this year. They started out pretty good and then ended up firing the coach mid-season, bringing in Doc, found the chemistry with that, and then you get to the playoffs, and then you had the injuries, Giannis, Dame, and so it pretty much hindered their season, and they're just gonna have to look forward to the next season. Get healthy. Dame and Giannis get healthy. They have another year under their belt to kind of gain that chemistry and figure out, what they want to do in terms of, the direction they want to go for their franchise. And so, I think that the Milwaukee Bucks should give the Dame and Giannis experience another shot, another opportunity to see, where they can go if they can stay healthy and stuff like that. I think they have the solid personnel. Just give the team another shot. Give Doc some full off season to get the right personnel, get the coaching staff he needs and stuff like that, and come back. Shout out to the Pacers. They advanced. T.J. McConnell played very well. One of the more underrated players in the NBA, in my opinion. It's funny because LeBron had mentioned in his podcast that T.J. McConnell is one of his favorite players. And when I first heard it, I was kind of like, this wasn't a name that a player that you would probably just come, you would just think like, oh, TJ McConnell is one of LeBron's favorite players. But as I've watched him play and seen the production he puts, it's understandable because he's a very productive player and he's a good player. He's efficient. I was looking at his stats and he's averaged about, like, obviously if you're somebody and you just said, well, TJ McConnell only averaged 10 points a game, you're probably like, oh, that's nothing. But then, like for me, one thing I've learned to start doing when it comes to, stats and stuff is look at the time, look at their minutes per game. So um, TJ McConnell averaged about 18 minutes a game. So a player giving you 10 points in 18 minutes, that's highly productive. And I think he averaged, probably around like 4 or 5 assists or something like that. That's super productive as a player. And so, and then, obviously you got, Halliburton, who is starting in front of him. And so, yeah, he averaged in 71 games played, 18.2 minutes. He averaged 10.2 points, 2.7 rebounds, 5.5 assists a game. Super productive. I mean, you're telling me if he averaged 30, you just doubled those minutes, give him 36 minutes. That's 20 and 10. If he's getting starter minutes, he's averaging 20 and 10. So, that just goes to show productivity type of player that TJ McConnell is. And then, Halliburton did his thing, and that Indiana Pacers squad did their thing. So shout out to them going on to the next round. Then you got the Knicks and the Sixers. The New York Knicks advanced to the second round, winning 4-2. This was probably my favorite series that I watched. This was my favorite series of the first round. Very, very entertaining series. A lot of games came down to the wire. A lot of big shots were made down the wire, and you're just seeing the emergence of Jalen Brunson and the player that he's becoming. Over the 2 years and what he's doing. He played lights out the first round. Had multiple, I think about 3 40-point games. Just balling out of control. Doing this without Julius Randle. He's really been leading this New York Knicks team. I think they got a good chance to get to the conference finals. And Dante DiVincenzo doing this thing, Josh Hart balling. It's good to see what they're doing. 76ers, Maxey balled out. Had a couple big games, especially that one game. He literally won. Hit that big shot damn near by the half to put it into overtime, and then ended up winning. So Tyrese Maxey balled out. Embiid balled out despite the injuries. Big shout out to Joel Embiid. I like to see, he really shows some resiliency, in my personal opinion. Bouncing back from the injury, still playing, having big games, and he kind of rushed to get back, because obviously I don't think he's all the way healed, but he did it because he wanted to compete and be there for his team, and I think that's what's up. I think unfortunately 76, just injuries, the whole thing with Joel Embiid getting injured, kind of messed up their chemistry, their team chemistry, and things of that nature. But they're gonna have a full off season, especially with the addition of Buddy Hield, and they just figure out what they want to do, how they want to move. So they're gonna be, um, you know, a presumptive strong team for the next season. Shout out to them. Then you got the Thunder and the Pelicans. Um, you know, they won. Thunder won the series with ease, winning 4-0. The young Thunder squad really showing what they can do, showing their resiliency, their ability, their talent. They really dominated the series. Nothing much really to say. Zion was injured, unfortunately, um, and so things were kind of left up to C.J. McCollum and Brandon Ingram to kind of lead the way. But unfortunately, that didn't. They weren't wasn't enough to beat this young Thunder team led by Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, um, and the rising young players that they have, and Chet Holmgren and Jalen Williams. This is a young Thunder team that is showing they belong, and they're no fluke. So they advance and will be playing the second round. And then you got the Clippers versus the Mavericks. Um, the Clippers lost the series. Dallas won 4-2. Um, Luka played lights out. Kyrie played lights out. Of course, injury bug crept up on the Clippers. Um, Kawhi missing a number of games, and things were pretty much left up to James Harden and Paul George to pretty much take up the mantra for them, and wasn't enough. Got bounced out. Um, I do think if Kawhi was not injured, that they would have won. I picked the Clippers to win this series, but they didn't. So yeah, Dallas has moved on to the second round, and then Minnesota Timberwolves versus the Suns. Minnesota won this series very handily, winning 4-0. And Edwards showed his dominance, played great throughout the series, dominated the series, outplayed both Booker, Durant, and Bill by himself, in my personal opinion. And as they said, it's that change of the guard, and we're seeing it right in front, in our eyes. These young stars are taking up the mantle, showing that they're here to stay. It's a change, it's changing the guard. It's their turn now. So Timberwolves advanced, Suns lost. Just a team, I just felt like the personnel of this team was never good to begin with. You got 3 great players, a couple good role players, but just the personnel of that team just didn't make sense from the beginning. And the result was what it was. They get bounced out the first round. I think this roster needs to be reconstructed, and if they feel like they can want to win a championship, as currently constructed, this roster cannot win anything. Obviously, they got bounced out 4-0. Matt Ishbia, who's a fellow Spartan, shout out to him, but I definitely disagree with his point of like his team, him thinking that his team is in such a great position, moving forward, because like you got swept 4-0. You got 3 great players, and that's really about it. And you got some, like I said, some good role players. Like a Yusuf Nurkic, Eric Gordon. You know, they should have made more use of Bol Bol. I think he's a lot better than people think. And so have these guys, but like I said, just overall, the roster of the team just never fit well, in my opinion, how it was set up. So Minnesota's going on to the second round. And lastly, Denver Nuggets versus the Lakers. Denver won the series 4-1. Gentleman's sweep. Denver dominated the series. Joker dominated. Despite the great play of LeBron James and AD, and including D'Lo. People always want to give D'Lo a lot of flack. D'Lo played well, had some good games. D'Lo had a good season, 18-6, averaging 18-6 alongside LeBron James and AD. It's not easy. So D'Lo played well. Just wasn't enough. I had said it from the beginning. Just wasn't a good matchup for the Lakers against Denver. I had chose Denver to win this series. This wasn't a good matchup, and that is just really what it comes down to. This wasn't a good matchup, and I think, you know, with this Lakers team, the thing is, you have two great players, and you have good role players around them. It's not like they have some scraps around them, but I don't know. They got to do some reconstruction with that lineup, with that team. I feel like they got to do some reconstruction. So yeah, that's that. Denver's going on to the first round. As it pertains to my picks for the series, I got two wrong. So out of what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I went 6-2. I went 6-2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, I went 6-2. Only two series I got wrong was the Pacers and Bucks, but Giannis got injured, Dame got injured. Who would have, you know what I'm saying? So that automatically skews that, you know what I'm saying? Puts an asterisk on that one. And then the other one I got wrong was the Clippers and Mavericks, but Kawhi got hurt. So that skews that. So I would have likely got all of them right if not for injuries, barring injuries. So yeah, I think I did pretty good. I gave y'all some good picks, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, that's my review for the first round of the playoffs.